Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Blessing and we are the UX design people. I'm passionate about all things design, web design, UX design, product design, everything. And this channel is all about bringing you tips, inspirations, ideas, concepts, and everything related to UX design. Today, we are diving into something every designer and problem solver needs in their toolkit: empathy mapping. Now, you've probably heard the term before, but what does it actually mean? And more importantly, how can you use it to truly understand your users and create better products or solutions? In today's video, I'll walk you through what an empathy map is and why it's so powerful. Then a step-by-step practical guide to creating one, whether you are working solo or with a team. And then some practical tips to make your empathy mapping sessions more effective. So yeah, grab your sticky notes and let's get started on a practical approach to empathy mapping. Thank you very much for subscribing to my channel. If you have not, please do so that you don't miss any of my content when they drop. If you do enjoy my content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share to all your friends, especially those in UX design. Welcome back. So let's quickly get into it. What is an empathy map? An empathy map, I broke down the definition here. The definition is according to Nielsen Norman Group. You can just check them out. You'll see the link in the description. Yeah, according to them, an empathy map is a collaborative tool used in human centered design to gain deeper insights into a user's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It helps teams develop a shared understanding of the user and fosters empathy by visualizing their experiences, needs, and challenges. So basically, what you need to know here is an empathy map is a collaborative tool. It's something that people work on together. But if you're alone in your team, it's not a problem. It doesn't prevent you from being a good designer or creating your empathy map. It's just that the empathy map ideally is a tool that different people work on. You come together to create this empathy map so that it can guide the designers, it can help the team understand and empathize with the user. Okay. Then an empathy map is used to gain deeper insight into a user's thoughts, feelings, and experiences. And usually, an empathy map is used to capture users' feelings, users' behaviors, users' words. Usually, when you interview them, whether you're about to start designing or you're already in the development phase and you're testing, or even after launch, you want to get feedback from the user. When you conduct your research using interviews or any other means that you want to use, then you use this empathy map to capture their thoughts, their feelings, their experiences, everything they say. I mean, not literally everything, but things that fall into these categories, you try to capture them as much as possible. Now, to the importance of empathy mapping. Empathy mapping guides user centered design decisions. As you can see here, you have your user in the middle. If you look at the picture that I have here, your user is in the middle and everything else is around them. Usually, when you do this, when you bring the user to the center, it helps to align the team around the user's perspective. So basically, you are looking at it from the user's angle, you're experiencing things from the user's perspective. The second importance here is that it acts as a shared reference point for stakeholders. Yes, this is very important because when you create an empathy map, it acts like a single source of truth. Like when you want to do something related to this user or to this user segment, then you come to this map. It is like something you keep on referring to throughout the design process. At least as far as you are still working with this user or with this user segment, then this empathy map is something you keep on referring to. Then it highlights opportunities for improving user experience. Yes, this is very important because when you create your empathy map, by the time you're summarizing the user's expressions, their behaviors, their thoughts and everything, you're going to realize that okay, this is how we can help you. These are the problems you are facing right now, and this is where we can come in. How might we do this? How might we help you? How might we improve this situation? Now, let's talk about the quadrants. As you can see here, you have four quadrants. You have the says, thinks, does, and feels. Now, I'm just going to highlight briefly what these quadrants mean. That is each of them, what it means. Yeah, so this says, this is basically what the user says out loud. If you are interviewing them, these are the things that they say, the direct quotes, direct expressions from them, and things like that. So all these fall under the quadrant says. Then for things is basically what matters to the user. When you interview people and they start talking about their, like, what matters to them, maybe affordability, distance, the time spent, things like that, the ease, the convenience, like things that matter to the user, you start to categorize them under this quadrant. Then it includes things that they are reluctant to share. Sometimes when you talk to users, they are reluctant to share some things. They don't want to let you know that they are worried about something, because they don't want you to feel bad, or they don't want to be that difficult customer or difficult user. They just want you to see them as someone who doesn't have problems, who knows how to navigate the app. Nobody wants to appear foolish or stupid, so they try to pretend like everything is fine. It's the responsibility of the designer to capture these thoughts. You can't exactly capture them, but you can just estimate, like, what might the user be thinking at this moment that they are reluctant to share. Are there any thoughts that are going on in their mind as they are going through this journey, as they are trying to complete this task? What really matters to this user that they are not communicating? All these fall under things. The next one is does. Does is basically what the user does. I mean, literally. So what they do in your presence, if you are with them, probably you tell them to show you how they complete a task. What they do in your presence, or how they go about it. When you design a product, there's usually an intended way that you want that user to use it. You have your plan in mind, and then you put signifiers there that, okay, this is how I want you to go around the app. If you want to top up, this is the button. This is the button on this page is what you should use. But probably the user does not really recognize these things, and they go through another route to top up their wallet. You want to look at how they do things. It's not just what they do, but also how they do these things. So yeah, these things fall under does. Then feels is basically the user's emotional state. That is, are they excited, are they worried, are they frustrated, are they stressed, their current emotional state, what how the experience makes them feel right now. And for this one, it's kind of just nice to write it like an adjective and a short sentence for context. For example, you are frustrated because you can't read, or let's say the text is too tiny. So you are frustrated by the small size of the text. You just put a short sentence for context. You're trying to add some meaning. You don't want to just put the adjective, okay, frustrated. You need to add it, like give the other team members some context to what is making this user frustrated. So you need to add a short sentence for context. Don't forget that you are not working alone, or you might be working alone, but think about cases where other designers or maybe new team members join your team, and they want to look at the things that you've worked on. So if you add a short sentence for context, it gives them a clue. Okay, this is why the user is frustrated. You don't want to just leave them guessing. So yeah, that's that about the four quadrants. Let's quickly go into some important points to note while creating your empathy map. I think I mentioned earlier that empathy maps are used at the beginning of a project to understand the target audience, and also after conducting user research to, to synthesize your findings. One more thing you should note is that empathy maps can be used when designing or developing your user personas or journey maps. Now, when you are doing it, when you are creating your empathy map, if an item cuts up across multiple quadrants, just pick one quadrant and move on. Don't repeat the items. Let me show you. Let's say you have your quadrants here: says, thinks, does, feels. You realize that that thing your user says can also fit here. Like, I open the app every time I wake up. It's something they say and it's a direct quote from the user, right? But it's also something they do. Where do you then put it? You just have to make up your mind and choose one quadrant. So you don't necessarily have to repeat the expression or the card or the item. You don't just repeat it because you want it to appear in the two sides. So basically, if your item cuts across multiple quadrants, pick one. Then don't focus too much on being precise. Okay, you might have like a long list of items or expressions from the user or multiple users, and you want to like really get everything 100%. You want to be sure that the statements fall in the right quadrant without making mistakes. That's not our goal. Okay, that's not our goal. Our goal is to capture their thoughts, their behaviors, their experiences, their emotions. And so far you are able to fit the expressions into one of these categories, then we are good to go. So don't focus too much on being precise. Don't try to create a perfect empathy map. Then an empty quadrant means that you need to do more user research. For example, when you are done with your empathy mapping and you realize that you have 6 items here, 5 items here, 7 items here, and nothing here, that means you did not capture any feeling. So it's either you go back and evaluate all the ones that you put here. Try to look around and see if you've accidentally put in some feelings. Let me put it that way: some feelings you put them under doors or under says or under things. So just look around. But if you actually see that there are actually no feelings captured, then you need to do more user research, because definitely human beings are emotional beings. Okay, we are emotional beings, and in one way or the other you will be feeling something. It might be positive, it might be negative, but you are definitely going to be feeling something, whether during the interview or just experiences, emotions that are elicited when you use the product. They are definitely going to say something about what they feel about using the product. Now, empathy maps can capture one user or multiple users with similar behavior. Yeah, if it's a single user, you just have your regular empathy map, you create it for one user. And if it's for multiple users, we call that aggregated empathy maps. And you can check it out, link in description. Aggregated empathy maps are just like empathy maps that have been created by grouping multiple users with similar behavior. Okay, not just like bringing together multiple users. Like, okay, since we have 20 users or 20 people that participated in our interview, let's just create one empathy map to capture everybody's emotions, everybody's thoughts, everybody's experiences. No, that's not necessarily how it works. How it works is that you group them. Okay, the ones that have similar properties, you put them in one user segment, and it's that user segment that you are going to create the empathy map for. So instead of you having a user here, there will be one user that is going to represent that user group, that user segment. So the empathy map will now be for the user segment. So if you have like 20 users, you might have 8 people under this user segment. Then you create another empathy map for another segment, things like that. So you don't necessarily group all your users in one empathy map. You just create them according to their behavior, according to similarities that they have. The next one we have here: add more details as needed. Okay, add more details like goals, motivations, and things like that. Once you see that there's something important that you want to place on your map, then definitely go for it. You can add them. I'll show you examples of how to do this in a bit. Let's quickly move on to the practical aspect. Now let's read together. This is a participant. Her name is Sarah, single, 29 years old, marketing professional. So we asked that, this is a fictional interview, okay? We asked that three questions actually. The first question is, what's your biggest challenge with getting ingredients and recipes? She said, and I quote, I'm super busy during the week, so I barely have time to plan meals or shop for groceries. I end up eating out a lot, which is expensive and unhealthy. When I do try to cook, I often realize I'm missing an ingredient halfway through. The second question, how do you feel when you face these challenges? The answer, it's frustrating and stressful. I want to eat healthy, but it feels like a chore to get everything together. I also feel guilty about wasting food when I buy things I don't use. The third question, what do you think about a meal kit service? That sounds amazing. If it can save me time and help me eat healthier, I'm all for it. But it needs to be affordable and offer quick recipes for weekdays. Now, these are the three questions we asked Sarah, and she gave her answers. You can already see from her responses that there are very important things that you need to capture, that you need to lay on your empathy map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these down into three different pages so that we can analyze each question and break down the responses. Okay. The first question, what's your biggest challenge with getting ingredients and recipes? Now she says, I'm super busy during the week, so I barely have time. Basically, this means that she doesn't have time to plan meals or shop. You don't necessarily have to like copy all these long statements and be pasting in your cards. You don't need them, okay? You don't. Now, what I did was I just summarized this, and I have this short statement here. I don't have time to plan meals or shop. The next thing here, I end up eating out a lot, which is expensive and unhealthy. There are two important things here that I want us to note. She says she ends up eating out a lot. So I brought it out and wrote here. Then she says it's expensive and unhealthy. What is expensive and unhealthy? Eating out a lot. Okay. So I wrote it also separately. The last statement for this question, when I do try to cook, I often realize I'm missing an ingredient halfway through. That means that even when she tries, like she makes an attempt to cook, she still realizes that the ingredients are not complete. So I wrote here, I realize I'm missing an ingredient. I mean, this this just captures what she says here. Okay, we don't know yet if this is under says or does or thinks or feels. We don't know yet. I just summarized them. Okay, I brought them out into small cards. These cards you can use physical cards, you can use sticky notes, you can use anything that makes you comfortable. Okay, you don't really have to start out and make it extremely pretty like this. Just use something that you have around. Yeah, we're done with question one. Let's just move to question two. How do you feel when you face these challenges? It's frustrating and stressful. Already, the question is, how do you feel? Okay, so we're already like pointing it in the direction of feels. You know that most of the responses here are going to feels, the feels quadrant. Now, it's frustrating and stressful. I want to eat healthy, but it feels like a chore to get everything together. Frustrating and stressful is already like it's important, so you need to bring it out. I wrote frustrated. Getting ingredients is not enjoyable because she says that it feels like a chore to get everything together. So getting ingredients is not enjoyable, and it makes her it gives her that frustrating feeling. Okay, then I also feel guilty about wasting food when I buy things I don't use. Yeah. Now this is another feeling here. Guilty. Unused food wastes. Okay. And Over here, she wants to eat healthy. This is it. I want to eat healthy. That's that about question two. Like I said, we are not worried about the quadrants right now. We're just bringing out, we are extracting the statements, the important statements. Now, the last question: what do you think about a meal kit service? She says, that sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. That's what she thinks about it, right? We brought it out. A meal kit service sounds amazing. If it can save me time and help me eat healthier, I'm all for it. That means she wants to save time and eat healthier. It needs to be affordable and offer quick recipes for weekdays. That's basically what I wrote here. Solution needs to be affordable and offer quick recipes for weekdays. And why is that? Because don't forget that she's busy. She said in the first question, I'm super busy during the week. Okay, so you need to capture all these things and link them together. Okay, this is the summary of all the things that we brought out. The three questions, everything here, all these have now been summarized into these cards. This is basically everything. Now that we have everything here, we can now start wondering which one is says, which one is feels, which one is thinks, which one is does. Now you have your guide here. This guide is a poster by the Nelson Norman group, and you can also check the link in description to view it, to download it and the likes. So under says, you have direct quotes from research. You can just print out this poster and just hang in your workspace or wherever you do most of your design process. You can just put it there so that you don't have to start looking for it every time you need it. So yeah, direct quotes from the research. For example, am I dumb? I want something reliable. Things like this. So I've already brought out some quotes. I don't have time to plan meals or shop. I want to eat healthy. I realize I'm missing an ingredient. Even this one, I eat out a lot. It's still a direct quote because she said is that she ends up eating out a lot and it's expensive and unhealthy. But like I said, you have to pick a quadrant. If you really want to say direct quotes, almost everything she said are direct quotes, and you don't want to put all of them under this quadrant. You have to leave some for things, for does, for feels. Okay, so I just decided to use these three as the says quadrant. Basically, what you need to do now is you need to just look at the quadrant: thinks, does, feels, and then read the description. Let's go to does. We've done for says, right? What does the user physically do? If you go around here, what does she do? She eats out a lot. Okay, that is like the main thing that I see that she does. Another thing is that I did not put here is that she buys things that she doesn't use. But it's not every time. We're not sure it's every time, but it's also something to note. When I buy things I don't use, it's also something important that you may feel you want to add into your empathy map. Yeah. Then, okay, where are we? Okay, here. Now, things, what occupies the user's thoughts? You want to think about it. Okay, what's she thinking? What does she think about this? You get, like, now this is really annoying. You get, now she says a meal kit service sounds amazing. That's something she thinks, but she actually said it loud. Like, she said it out loud. Okay, that means she's accepting of it. She wants this kind of service. Okay, she also said that eating out is expensive and unhealthy. It's something that she thinks, although she also said it out loud. But we know that she's worried about how much she's spending on meals and things like that, and also maybe falling sick as a result of poor eating habits. So basically, things, I think this one should go under this program, that is eating out is expensive and unhealthy. Then the last one we have here is feels, and this is often an adjective, like I said earlier, plus a short context, a short statement for context. Now we have feelings: frustrated, getting ingredients is not enjoyable, guilty, unused food waste, and things like that. So here, this next page, I've already separated them. I use the colors that they use here. So these light orange ones are under the says quadrant. I don't have time to plan meals or shop. I want to eat healthy. I realize I'm missing an ingredient, I just put them under here and all of that. So these two are under things, then does, I eat out a lot, then feels, these two feelings, frustrated and guilty. Now, after doing that, you want to just group them, because like this, just leaving this like this doesn't make an empathy map. You have to bring it here where your user is the center, and then all your expressions are going to fall in the quadrants around the user. So basically, this is your empty empathy map. You've not arranged them, and by the time you arrange them, you have something like this. You have something like this. Okay, is basically what I colored. Now you have two things here that don't exactly fit into these parts, because basically you can still make them fit. Like now, the solution needs to be affordable and offer quick recipes for weekdays. If you think about it very well, this is something that she said out loud. You may decide to put them here, but like I said, under these important points to note over here, add more details like goals, motivations as needed. So if you want to, you may just decide to make it your goal or motivation. I mean the user's goal or motivation. You just bring them separately like this. Like, okay, Sarah's goal is that any solution that we are providing needs to be affordable and offer quick recipes for weekdays because she's busy and she wants to save time and eat healthier. That's basically what it means. So you have your goals and motivations here, and then you have your empathy map, says, things, does, and feels with your cards. Now that you have your empathy map, you can go ahead to create your user persona. Now that you have the goals and motivations, you have the pain points. The pain points are going to be extracted from this, and I'm going to probably do a video later to show how to generate user personas and the likes from this. So yeah, just stay tuned, and that's it. So in summary, we've been able to talk about empathy maps. We've been able to talk about their importance in design. You've learned the four quadrants of an empathy map and how to create your empathy map. You also learned the differences between a single user empathy map and an aggregated empathy map. We have come to the end of this video, and if you really enjoyed my content, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to all your friends, especially in UX design. If you have not subscribed, please do, and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any of my videos when they drop. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.